You know, I'm the sort of a person who, whenever experiences something for the first time, I'm like a huge ball of emotions and nervousness and diarrhea. And I mean, I know a lot of people like that, but you know, I'm like that as well. So I decided कि मैं अपने कुछ first times share करूँगी आप लोगों के साथ आज. And yeah, so let's do this. But before I continue, I would really like for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you're already a subscriber, then you get a 10-second dance party. I don't know if the 10 minutes have passed, but I think they have. Recently मुझे अपने बारे में एक story पता चली, which is why I wanted to talk about my first times as well. मुझे पता चला कि when what happened when I joined the hospital for the first time, or because this is a more recent thing, so I thought let's talk about it. Just like anybody else, I guess, जब मेरा first day था hospital में, तो I was quite nervous. I was excited, but I think I was more nervous, and my stomach was like constantly hurting, like, you know, cramps पड़ रहे थे, and I was like, there was fear of judgment, and then there was fear of failure, and then there was fear of everything. And मेरे दिमाग में बिल्कुल ये चीज़ थी नहीं that there might be people at the hospital who recognize me as Hamna Raza the blogger, right? ये चीज़ अक्सर दिमाग में नहीं रहती. So just like any other person, what I went to the hospital and I was just, you know, waiting for someone to tell me something. जब आपका first day होता है, आप जाते हो, आप inform करते हो that you're here, and then you wait for someone to tell you what you are supposed to do, where you are supposed to go, and where to start. तो मैं जी भाई बड़े मज़े से अपने उसमें बैठी हुई हूँ, एंड ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज मैं किसी को नहीं जानती थी, तो मैं अपने आप में बैठी हुई थी. एंड ऑब्वियसली इफ आई एम जस्ट सिटिंग, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू बी स्माइलिंग टू माई सेल्फ और टॉकिंग टू माई सेल्फ और बीइंग और बबली एंड चबली एंड व्हाटएवर द हेल, राइट? सो आई वाज बेसिकली माइंडिंग माई ओन बिजनेस, एंड रिसेंटली आई फाउंड आउट दैट व्हेन आई केम, जब मेरा फर्स्ट डे था, they were like, people were talking, like lots of people recognized me. And you know what people were saying about me? People were saying that हमना रज़ा आई है और वो ज्वाइन करी है और वो जो है ना फुल एटीट्यूड में बैठी हुई है, वो बहुत एरोगेंट है. Only because, you know, I was minding my own business and I didn't know anybody, so I didn't know what to do. But it's very interesting how, you know, just like any other person, I would be nervous, but people would take it very, very differently because I'm a public figure. Another one of the first times that I would like to share that I have heard from my mom and my family tell me was the first time on stage. Now this particular thing is very interesting because I've been on stage बहुत दफ़ा. I've done public speaking and I have done theater as well. Hosting भी की है, announcements भी की है, singing भी की है. So I've been on stage like a lot of times. But the first time apparently when I was on stage, it was a fashion show. वो बच्चों का नहीं होता fancy dress party, तो उसका fashion show होता है where all the kids are, you know, wearing funny things and, you know, they walk and show their costumes off or whatever. And it's usually always planned like, you know, your teachers or whatever tell you कि आपने चल के जाना है और आपने ये thing करनी है. But me, I was quite the attention seeker क्योंकि मुझे सबकी attention चाहिए थी. I guess, I mean, that's the only explanation I have for what I did. I walked the ramp, जो भी था, जो उन्होंने मेरे लिए बनाया था, and I was supposed to like twirl once and then I was supposed to come back, you know, and then बाकियों की बारी थी. मैं गई हूँ भाई, मैंने एक ट्वर्ल किया, मैंने दूसरा ट्वर्ल किया, मैंने तीसरा ट्वर्ल किया, फिर वापस आई हूँ. And every time like my family brings this up, it is so hilarious, and they just talk about, you know, how I was so extra as a kid, and I guess I was carefree, like I didn't care. But yeah, that was my first time on stage. Okay, so another one of the first times that I very distinctly remember was when I had a panic attack. Clearly this is not a very funny one. I was in my third year, and at that time I was very close to giving my third prof, and I was suffering from anxiety, not just because my prof was coming, but I was suffering from anxiety because of a lot of other reasons, and I had a lot of health anxiety. So I had recently been diagnosed with sinusitis, and it was like really bad at that time. Anyway, I was staying at my friend's place. We had been studying the whole night. रात को काफ़ी late हम सोने लगे, और हम सोने लगे हैं, and my brain just won't stop, right? So it's thinking the worst like the worst, take care of everything. And I'm like can't stop moving my legs, and I'm tossing and turning and just very restless. And I'm thinking about the prof, and I just feel like कि मुझसे third prof तो होएगा ही नहीं, right? Like impossible and whatever, and I'm sick and I don't know what's happening, like the world is falling apart, like, you know, that was my mental state at that time. And all of a sudden, like, I felt like I had gone to sleep but my brain was still working. No, now I have to say all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden I woke up and I could not breathe. मुझे ऐसा लगा था मेरी सांस की नाली पिचक गई है, and I couldn't move also. And मुझसे बोला भी नहीं जा रहा था. And then I woke my friend up बड़ी मुश्किल से, and I was like, listen, save me because I'm dying. अल्लाह की कसम, I thought मेरी जिस्म में से ना, like, मेरी जान कोई निकाल रहा है और अब मैं मर जाऊंगी. And obviously I freaked my friend out, and like she was trying to like calm me down, and both of us didn't know what was wrong. Then she woke her mother up, and then who's a doctor, by the way, and then we assumed that it was like a glucose hikami type thing, because if you're really hungry and you go to sleep, like your blood sugar is low, then your body wakes you up in an emergency to have something. So, you know, उन्होंने मुझे calm down किया, उन्होंने मुझे कुछ पिलाया, कुछ खिलाया, blah blah blah, and then I went back to sleep. But today I know that it was the first time I had experienced a panic attack, and man, it was real. So some of you might be interested to know this. The first time that I made money was when I was in BDS again, and you know what my first job was? Writing. So I was a ghostwriter for creating content for books, and I used to spend hours writing books, literally books, and I didn't even make all that much money. But I don't know, as a young person, I guess you're passionate about making your own money and all of that, and because I was a hostelite, though, more so, and I enjoyed it. And the first time I made money out of it, like, it was such hard earned money. Like, I used to do so much research, and then I used to write those books, and then I used to like get money for it, and not a lot of money for it. And I remember the first time I went shopping with my own money, that was also an epic feeling. बहुत सारी चीज़ें खरीदी थी, उनमें से कुछ मैंने कभी किसी को नहीं दिया, just because it's the stuff that, you know, I earned for myself. What else? Oh, this is interesting. So my first day at ससुराल. अच्छा, ये इस चीज़ का ख्याल मुझे इस तरह आया था कि recent times में पता नहीं कोई मेरी conversation हुई थी मुज़म्मिल के साथ, I don't remember it, और मैंने उसमें बोला कि it was the happiest day of my life. ठीक है, and Muzammil asked me, you know, कि what do you mean? Wasn't your first day with me the happiest day of your life? मतलब first day after shadi the happiest day of your life? And I gave Muzammil my perspective, and I said कि I'll be honest, but it wasn't the happiest day of my life, because I was happy because I got married to somebody who I was really grateful for to have as a partner. But the first day of a girl's life in a new house in Susral is not the happiest. It's not sad either. Like, it's not sad because, you know, because you're the bride and you get all the attention and everything, but it's scary because you don't know what people are expecting from you. And I know all the women can relate, because you wake up thinking, did I wake up at the right time, and you're doing everything in a rush. मतलब मैंने उठना कब है, मैंने सोना कब है, मैंने तैयार कैसा होना है, do I look fine, do I go downstairs, am I expected to do stuff from today, you know, how am I expected to behave, how am I expected to sit, and you have all these questions in your head, and they are so real and so overwhelming, and you are so constantly uncertain that I think you spend your entire first day just trying to deal with your own self. Okay, like, you know, how are you supposed to be, how are you expected to be, and obviously it takes time for you to figure out how to be yourself in a completely new environment. Another one of the first most interesting things obviously has to be my first day at the hostel. जब मैं hostel में गई थी तो मेरे साथ मेरी कोई friend hostel नहीं गई थी. मैं अकेली थी hostel में. My mom came, she settled me. I was happy because I did like the place. It wasn't the best, but I was satisfied. मतलब मेरे दिमाग में कोई negative चीज़ उस वक्त चल नहीं रही थी. So my mom left me. I set up my room with her. I was excited to have my own space. I didn't have a roommate because we all had our own rooms. But शाम को ना, like, all of a sudden I had this like I felt like मेरा पेट में ना मेरा दिल जा चुका है. Like it was like a feeling of this drowning feeling, and I may have shed a tear or two उस दिन, because मुझे realization हुई थी कि I'm away from home, and in like one day I felt like my life was just something else. मतलब आपके घर में होते हो, आपके एक different environment में, and in like one day my life was just new, you know. And I remember bringing my meals into my room because I didn't want to be like, I hated eating alone. I didn't have friends and anything, but you know, it's just crazy how things start, because like itna jaldi then I made so many friends, and like hostel was eventually home, and you know, all the people there, तो कहीं से तो शुरुआत होती है. This would be an interesting perspective for a lot of people. A lot of people won't be able to relate to this, but I really want to share this, and I've hidden this from a lot of people. But this happened. Only 2 people know that this happened. Hospital में ना जब code blue होता है, तो code blue means that there is an emergency, and one of the patients needs to be resuscitated. So I had planned on eventually joining the code blue team, so you know, doing ACLS and BLS courses, and eventually joining the code blue team. So one day I was completely free, and वो जो speaker होता है hospital का, उसमें they were like, you know, there's a code blue at ramp 5. So I was like, okay, you know, if I eventually want to do this, maybe I should go and see how it happens, like see a more real life and realistic situation of code blue. And so I decided to go, मैं गई हूँ, and you know, I'm there and I'm watching this old woman. She was being resuscitated, and I don't like, literally मुझे याद नहीं है कि मैं उस वक्त क्या सोची थी. मुझे बस याद है कि मैं देख रही थी कि क्या हो रहा है. I was quite numb, and I was just watching, and I was just watching, literally. And like about after a lot of trying, so that they failed to resuscitate her, and she passed away. And then, you know, the doctor, he was like, okay, you know, now I have to inform the family, and this is what happened. He was talking to the team and everything, and like the moment he said that, you know, he has to talk to the family, I felt something in my gut, and that was the first time उस moment में that I felt something in my gut, and I don't have a word for that feeling, like I don't recognize that emotion, but I felt something. I decided to leave. मैंने दरवाज़ा खोला, मैंने जैसे ही दरवाज़ा खोला, like the whole family was standing outside, and that moment, like the gut feeling became stronger. Like all of a sudden I was beginning to feel emotions. Anyway, I left, and मैं cafeteria में गई, and हमारा break time हो चुका था by then. So I went and I sat in the cafeteria, and I was not thinking about what had happened, but flashbacks started coming into my head. I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating. मेरे दिमाग में flashbacks आना शुरू हुए हैं, and I could not stop crying. तो मेरे आंसू गिरना शुरू हुए, and I was really embarrassed. So I got up and I left, and I called my car, and I went home, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed. You know, why am I crying, you know? And then Muzammil sat me down, and you know, he told me कि हमना, like, for any human, it's completely normal for any person with any sense of compassion or any empathy, experiencing something like this for the first time. It should be very normal for them to feel something. Maybe somebody feels emotions more intensely and some people don't, but it's very normal for people to do that. And there have been a lot of times, as a person in the medical field, that I have seen things and felt a lot of stuff, and I was like, you know, but I felt embarrassed, because I was like, you know, if this is something I want to do, then I shouldn't be so emotional about it. And then Muzammil told me that obviously it was just your first time, and eventually you grow, and eventually you learn to understand, and eventually you don't stop feeling, but you become stronger and less vulnerable to these emotions. Like, you don't let them get the better of you. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I felt like sharing this one, because this first time, like, really hit me here, and I felt like, you know, maybe I should share that here as well. So the first time I went abroad, I was 7 years old, and it was the most exciting thing. My parents, they planned a trip for the family, first to the UK and then to the US. We had family दोनों जगह पे, तो बड़ा प्लान बना जी, सब गए, और हम UK गए थे, and I was like you know, so amazed because मैंने ज़िंदगी में कभी castle नहीं देखा था, and I saw the castles and the bridges and the river and the lifestyle. Obviously I had never been out of Pakistan, so I was like literally in awe of everything. And the one distinct thing I remember was कि मैंने ना एक टियारा ख़रीदा था वहाँ से, because everything was so royal and you know like all of that over there. मैंने तो भाई princess बनना था ना, तो मैंने एक टियारा ख़रीदा था वहाँ से बहुत ज़िद करके, और I wore it the entire trip because I wanted to be a princess. तो जितना टाइम हम इंग्लैंड में थे, I wore that tiara and I remember that I kept it for so long in my life कि मतलब अभी तक पता नहीं, मुझे वो याद है कि अभी वो बहुत recent टाइम तक था और अब वो बेचारा पता नहीं कहाँ है, and I genuinely miss it right now. And I remember also कि वो एक साइड से टूट भी गया था, तब भी उसके बाद मैंने उसको एल्फी से जोड़ा, कभी टेप से जोड़ा, कभी पता नहीं किस चीज़ से जोड़ा, मैं इतनी बड़ी हो गई थी, but I kept it with me. And like I have amazing memories and I have pictures wearing that tiara like everywhere. So that was quite an experience going abroad and seeing things I had never ever seen before. I guess that's a lot of firsts for this video. Actually मेरे पास बहुत सारे और experiences हैं share करने वाले. Honestly मैं बताऊँ मैं बहुत बोल सकती हूँ, मैं बहुत सारी first time stories बता सकती हूँ. But okay, thank you so much for watching and Allah Hafiz. Oh, and remember guys, positive vibes only.